Hey guys, it's Misty. I'm an athlete mental health coach, the author of this book, The Athlete Mental Health Playbook, and I've also been an entrepreneur for over 10 years with 2 different businesses. So I want to chat with you a little bit today about what the difference is between therapy and coaching. So in mental health and wellness, we know that there are terms like therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, and then we have coaches. There's all different people that fit into those roles, right? So you can get help from different people. So I'm going to explain a little bit today about what those different roles are and how to go about getting the help that you need if it's something that you are looking to do, all right? And the reason I'm going to explain this is because first and foremost, I'm going to put this book down, but first and foremost, a lot of people actually don't know the difference between what psychologists and psychiatrists and different mental health professionals do, right? It's not something that's isolated to athletes, but it is sort of a commonly unknown or addressed question, I should say. So let's talk about that for a second. So a licensed mental health professional, like a psychologist or a psychiatrist, for example, there's lots of different designations. I'm not going to get into all of them. I'm certainly not the expert on that because I am a coach. I'll explain that difference in a second. But from my personal experiences, this is really the difference. So there was a time in my life when I had a psychologist, I had a psychiatrist, and I've worked with coaches, all right? So the difference between my psychologist was a therapist and somebody who I went to and I made regular appointments with to go and just chat about things that were going on, right? And we would talk about things that happened in the past, childhood issues, and really work through all of those different points of contact, right? So that's really something at the very, very basic level. Please don't get offended if you are a psychologist or a therapist and I'm missing things. Very, very basic level is that's what you're doing. You're going there, you're going to talk about your past, you're going to uncover things that happened, you're going to look at triggers, you're going to look at childhood trauma, all of those different types of things that you can get into with a therapist or psychologist, all right? Now with a psychiatrist, the difference is a psychiatrist is a medical doctor. So this is somebody who has gone through med school, completed residency, additional training, whatever that might be. Again, I don't know what that might be, but they are a medical doctor. So that's why you'll see the MD. And a psychiatrist is somebody who you can see for the same reasons because maybe you have a traumatic past experience, you're dealing with PTSD, some severe cases where you need to get a medication prescribed, right? So that's one of the reasons someone will see a psychiatrist over a psychologist is because they need or they would like to have the option to have medicine prescribed to them, and only a medical doctor, as we know, can prescribe those medications. So that's the difference why you would see a psychiatrist versus a therapist. So in therapy, when I was going through all that stuff that I went through, I was seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist at the same time. The therapist I would go to pretty like once a week and we would talk about all kinds of stuff, and then the psychiatrist I would go to, and that's actually the first time that I learned that the depression, everything that I was feeling was caused by a chemical imbalance, and I started a medication therapy. And again, this was all as a young teenager, but that's where I began to learn about these things and develop an interest in them. So I hope that sort of clears that part up. Now as a coach, which is what I am, the difference is that I got certified as a coach, and there are lots of certification schools out there. There's different levels of certification that you can get. I'm not going to get into that today because what's relevant for you to know is that what a coach does, well, while you and me in a coaching session, I'm not going to go to the past and I'm not going to help you uncover why you are the way you are, right? So we're not going to look at things that happened in your childhood or growing up or whatever it is to figure out why you are the way you are. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to work on moving forward. And here's how we do that. So when you come to a coaching session, you will bring a topic, you will bring a desired outcome, right? So at the beginning of our session, we'll chat and you'll say, and I'll ask you, what do you want to work on today? And we'll kind of dig through that until we get to what it is that you really want, or as my mentor coach says, really, really want to work on, all right? And then once we get to that, what happens is I'm basically just going to be doing a lot of listening, but then asking questions. And I might repeat some things back to you, maybe in a different way, using different wording. But a lot of times what happens with that and sharing that information and repeating that information back is benefit of that for you is that when you're talking, sometimes you don't even hear yourself because you're so busy. But when someone says to you, okay, so what I just heard you say was this, sometimes that helps a light bulb go off, right? And coaching is all about helping the individual come up with solutions and learn to work through things on their own. Now you may say, okay, I can do that on my own. Why do I need somebody else to do that? Well, here's the benefit. In coaching, we have a schedule. So you're going to have a time carved out for you weekly or bi-weekly or monthly or whatever it is that the arrangement is. Usually it's weekly. So we have a day and a time carved out just for you. It's a judgment-free zone. So I, as a coach, do not bring my own judgment. I do not bring what I think you should do to our sessions. I don't bring any of my own preconceived notions or judgments to our session. All right, it's completely and totally about you. So that's number one. It's a judgment-free space that you've carved out. It's set there. It's there. You don't have to just say, oh, I'll work on this when I work on it, right? Because how many times do you put your self-care to the back seat? A lot of times. Or we just kind of work through things while we're driving or wherever we're doing, and we're thinking about other things. Well, this is a space where you can really work through those things, again, in a space that is also completely confidential. So that means it's just you and me, and that's it. So we sign an agreement. It doesn't go anywhere else but between the two of us. All right. And then we spend the session just talking through things. I mean, every once in a while, if we want to brainstorm together to come to find a solution or whatever it might be, we can certainly do that. But the basis of it is to allow you the space to talk through things, have somebody ask you questions to help you come to a resolution that's really helpful for you. So how does that help you if you're somebody who wants to develop your mental wellness and your mental health? Well, I'll give you an example. So it was a lot of in therapy and psychiatry, and I needed this, by the way. I'm not discounting this by any stretch of the imagination. I needed this when I was dealing with depression. I needed somebody to point and tell me what exactly was going on in this, and that, and let's uncover why this is happening to you. I absolutely needed that. But the benefit of coaching is that I get to focus on those moments on moving forward. Meaning that, so for example, if I want to move forward from habits that I have that make me sad, or conversations that are difficult for me to have, and I want to come up with a way to have those conversations, or I want to be able to set boundaries, for example, or I want to work on time management, or I want to work on uncovering negative mindset or blocks that might be happening mentally, so negative thought patterns, and I want to shift those to positive thought patterns. Those are things that we can work on in coaching, right? And it's also an opportunity, again, to just, maybe there's stuff going on that you don't even realize is going on until you get a chance to talk about it. And then that's when you have the opportunity to decide what you want to do with that information and how you want to move forward. So I hope that that explains it a little bit more. I'm happy to explain it to you in further detail. Go ahead and reach out and contact me. And that's it. And I cannot wait to see you guys again soon with another video. But again, always feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Make it a good one.